Hi everybody. Sorry, I'm a bit later than I originally planned, but I was just on a call to a lady, and I'm looking into writing a book, which is all very exciting. So just about my experience and my work with other women, etc. So yeah, so that's really exciting. So I'm sorry I'm a bit late, um, but I wanted to talk to you today. Um, I don't know if anybody's going to come on and join me, or I think I have somebody. Basically, I wanted to talk to you. Hi, Stacey. How are you? Um, so I wanted to talk today about goal setting. And I don't know whether you remember. Well, of course you remember the film Pretty Woman. Okay, and obviously there's Julia Roberts who plays Vivian, who's basically a prostitute at that time, and her friend Kit DeLuca. And I always remember that basically Kit DeLuca, sort of Vivian is very sort of like much not happy with her life, but she's kind of like bumbling along, but she's not too happy. So Kit says to her, "You need to have a goal. Do you have a goal?" And that's an awful way of saying it, but you know what I mean. Um, but anyway, and it never really kind of like occurred to me at that time about it. It was just part of the film, and I was far kind of like more thinking about Richard Gere and things like that, as you do. Um, but anyway, now it sort of it makes real sense, because if you want things to change, then it's really good to have a goal. I mean, I know how hard it is, when you're struggling with your eating disorder, be it anorexia, bulimia, whatever it is, it's really, really difficult. And, although, life feels like hell a lot of the time. Um, it's a struggle to get out. You may not know how the heck you're going to get out. You may not, know if you even want to get out, because you're using behaviors and rituals and things like that you feel are keeping you safe and, keeping you in control. So the thought of getting rid of those are pretty darn terrifying, to be fair, aren't they? Um, so yeah, and the thing that can really help is, and it might be difficult, but it helps to have, that goal. Yeah, you feel trapped. Yeah, definitely. And I felt like I was at the bottom of the well, and I, and I've said this so many times, and I just felt that I couldn't get out. There was no way out for me. Exactly. Um, but again, it was sort of like when somebody reached out to me, and I just didn't see a way out. And when somebody finally reached out to me and said, "I can help you," I was just like, "Oh my gosh!" And I just clinged, I just clinged on, and just. But then I did have to trust, I had to do a lot of trusting that, you know. And I said to myself over and over again, I said to myself, I need to trust. I need to hope and hope that they're not, trying to make me fat. They're not trying to make me big, and they are genuinely trying to help me. Um, but my options at that time were to either trust or still be in the same place. And as hard as being in the same place, sort of being in that well, as I have called it, that was awful place to be. Hi Sarah, nice to have you on. Um, it was horrible, and so to me, having that goal, something to aim for, and at the time it was really hard because I could hardly picture anything, and I'm not really keen on the word recovery, because to me it kind of it brought up images of, something that seemed very unrealistic. It seemed that, and I had visions, and even the word healthy kind of like brought up visions to me of being big as well, and I didn't like that. That's not what you want to aim for. Um, and so basically, I looked at, kind of like reframing that word. What word did I want to, I didn't want to think about the term recovery because that didn't feel very nice. I didn't want to feel about, sort of think to be healthy. What did I want? Um, and yeah, I know it seems like it will never happen, and that's how I thought, But look at me now. So there is, I'm not saying it's easy, and like I put in a post yesterday, it's about if you want things to change, you have to kind of like choose something different, choose to do something different, and then you have to make that choice, sort of like to put yourself first. Um, you know, you have to choose that over and over again, and it can feel quite overwhelming, and it feels like hard work, and it is. It is hard work, but it's like it is so worth it at the end. I can honestly tell you, it is so worth it. But yeah, getting back to the goal. It's not easy, but sometimes having a goal of, what you would like life to be like, and maybe you've, it's sort of like a life that you kind of felt comfortable, confident, relaxed in the past. Maybe you've never felt like that way, and I have to say that I, I mean, I was living before, and I was, my life was okay, but there was always a part of me that wasn't particularly happy, and sort of struggled with life, and confidence and anxiety and things like that. Um, and so for me, kind of like trying to picture, like a future life seemed very daunting. It was like, I had all these questions about, oh, but what would I be like at the end? And maybe, sort of like there's all these different buts, and maybe would be horrible, and maybe, I don't know, I wouldn't get the attention from people that I'm getting now. I wouldn't feel special. I wouldn't get the help, that I'm maybe getting now. Um, Lots of different things kind of like run through your head, and I get that, but honestly I can really tell you that it's totally worth it. I know it's hard to believe, and I really, I know that, but and so to have a goal, it's not only does it help you, but at the end of the day, and I've heard so many people say, oh, but I want to get better for my family, and yes, that is a good place to start, but at the end of the day, it's, people can kind of like say, I always think, if it's walking with you, people can walk with you on this journey. They can walk alongside you, they can walk with you, they can support you. But at the end of the day, it's you that need to do the thing different. It's you that needs to kind of like work on your stuff. It's you that needs to kind of sit down there and kind of like change your behavior. So if you're restricting, it's about eating a little bit more. If you're over exercising, it's about kind of trying to take control of that, and maybe just reduce that a little bit. And often that can feel so automatic to do these behaviors, but sometimes it's about being mindful and kind of like noticing and being aware of the behaviors, the rituals that we have, and to sort of like try and fight them. And and that can be hard, and I'm not saying that it isn't hard, but sometimes if we have that goal person, that ideal person, and sometimes it's not about, having, because I'm not an advocate of as you know, not an advocate of comparing yourself to people, because often we can look at people and think, oh, they're got this great life and stuff, and it's BS, basically. It's all wrong, because we have no idea what is going on in somebody else's head, just as nobody has an idea about what goes on in our head. Um, but yeah, it's about having that kind of like that person, and it may be, and don't think about it in terms of kind of like body, and what you look like. It's about kind of like thinking about it in terms of how you want to feel. And so in terms of like, rather than use the word recovery or healthy and stuff, I like to think of it as feeling better. and it might be about feeling more confident, feeling more positive about yourself. It might be about kind of giving yourself somebody who actually relaxes, who can relax, not be as anxious, or who actually, feels pretty okay about themselves. So again, it's all baby steps, all small steps, but what is it that you would like to feel like, and aim towards that, so that every time you're trying to challenge these behaviors that you have, think of that person that you want to become, because it just sort of like helps a little. And I know sometimes, like I said, it can be difficult to imagine, and yeah, I get that, but try, really, really try, to kind of to picture this kind of like, what you would really like to feel like, what would make you happy. And sometimes that's really hard because, we don't know. But try and imagine, our imagination can work very, very well, and imagining the worst case scenarios, and we always come up with the what ifs and the buts, and we're very good at imagining worst case stuff. But what if you could turn that around, and what if you could use your imagination to imagine the best case scenarios, because let's put our energy into that, into more positive stuff, because that really will help. And I know it's not easy, but isn't it worth trying? And that's the thing, is it worth it to you? Is getting out of, my well, was it worth it to me to get out of my well? Yes, it definitely was, because I don't know how much, I don't know how I would have survived had I'd not got out of that well. And I think that was, for me, I was at breaking point, and it was either get out of the well or something bad's going to happen, and so to me it was very worth it. Even though the times that I didn't feel very worthy of, getting better, and I thought that it would never happen, and all this, even though I had all that doubt, I had so many questions, so many buts, so many what ifs, I pushed through, and that's how you can do it as well. But don't worry at this stage about, how you're going to do it. Just make make the choice that you want things to change, and this is how I want to be at the end of that, and that's a really, really good start. That's a really, really good start. And don't listen to that bloody voice in your head that's telling you, oh, you can't do it and stuff. Bollocks. Absolute bollocks. Because, there are so many people that, have felt better about themselves, got themselves to a different place in their lives, and are feeling so much better for it. And they are no different to you. They have no special skills. They have no magic wand that, or anything like that. They just worked hard at it. They made the choice that they wanted things to be different. They had that goal, and they worked towards that goal. It's like sitting your A-levels, or sitting, some exams, or working really hard for a piece, a task at work that you want to do really well at. That's what it's like, and that's the effort that it takes. It's not easy, but it is achievable. It's not impossible at all. People do it, and they are better off for it. And Stacey, I know that you think that it will never happen, and you're scared. I was too. I felt every single feeling that you are feeling now. I felt them. Honestly, I did. And I'm so glad that I fought. I am so glad that I did. But again, as I'll always say to you, as you know, I do, EFT, emotional freedom techniques. That's the thing that I use. And I find that by working with people on their root cause, the stuff that has, made you use, although you haven't consciously thought about it, the reason why you, are using your eating disorder, and the reason you are holding on to it so badly, that's what I look at. That's what I look to get rid of, to turn around, so that you do feel more positive about yourself. You do feel more confident about yourself. You feel stronger and able to cope exactly as you are. And so you don't feel the same urges to use those rituals, those behaviors, that it doesn't have the same hold on you. And that's how I work. I don't look to work with you about sort of like, I don't really quiz you over eating. Although I have, kind of like supported people that I work with through kind of like eating the meals and stuff, and I can do that. But yeah, because I believe that the eating disorder is a symptom of something bigger. Like I always talk about, it's like about negative beliefs that you have about yourself. And I had loads, and there was loads of sort of stuff in my past that needed addressing. And once I'd sorted that, I started to like myself, really kind of like accept myself, see myself in a totally different way, to see myself as probably others saw me, but that I refused to see myself as. And that's how I started to really change things. So it's not, doing, every day kind of like, with the battle that you're having and stuff like that is such hard work. It is. But if you do the tapping and, you choose to work with me, great, or choose to work with somebody else, then that's, I'm not pushing myself on you, and, you have to be comfortable and trust the person that you're working with. So if that's not me, that's fine, but I do want you to kind of like, to do this work with somebody, because it's the best thing for you. So, yeah. Get rid of that root cause, get rid of that past stuff, and then you won't need your eating disorder behaviours, like you do now. And you won't feel that sort of like that fear or any guilt or anything like that. It's not a 5-minute process. It will take time, but it's probably the quickest way that I know of starting to deal with all your head stuff. And let's face it, there's a lot of stuff in there that drives us absolutely daft. So yeah, and it, as I say, the goal, it needs to be for you, because at the end of the day, people can walk beside you, support you along the way, but it's you that needs to do this work. It's you that needs to have the motivation and the commitment to do it. Yeah, you're all in your head. Yeah, we're all in our head. It's a typical thing. It is all our head stuff. And so it's about dealing with all that head stuff, which means then you're finally free. And as I say, it's a great blooming feeling. It really, really is. Yeah, so you need to get that strength and that motivation from somewhere, and so it needs to be for you. It has to be for you. So just think about how you'd like your life to be like, what that would look like to you ideally, even if you don't know how the heck you're going to get there, but have that goal in place, and that will help things. But again, find somebody, deal with that root cause, deal with your past stuff. It's not, anybody can say, oh, well, because you're dealing with that past stuff, that's a lot easier than dealing with the food stuff and whatever, which we all kind of like, very sort of like fearful and everything about. Whereas actually, dealing with your head can be quite, scary as well. But I deal with very, very safe ways of dealing with, this stuff that you have in your head, all those negative beliefs, all those root causes and stuff. And it's a very safe, a very gentle approach, and and I'm not without sort of like, kind of blowing my own trumpet. I'm very good at what I do, and I've, got great feedback and stuff about, so please don't, I know it's a really big step, reaching out for help, and I know it's scary, because, you know, you don't want to kind of like lose control, and there's a lot of fear around it, etc. Sorry, I've still got this blooming cough. Probably a sign that I've talked too much, hey? But yes, I will leave you there, but please do seek help. Take care. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.